They say love conquers all, but what about your finances? Today we unpack why the person you choose as a partner could be one of the biggest financial decisions you'll ever make. From shared goals to debt, maintenance, and financial transparency, we'll explore how relationships can make or break your financial future.
We've had a lot of conversations about money and finance and giving you some insights into your own finances. But what we wanted to do today is to really reflect on the journey with the mentees that Mapelo and I have been working with and some of the themes that have come out and some of the lessons that Mapelo, quite frankly, we've learned. Yeah. So for me, one of the themes that came up a lot was the impact of your partner on your finances. Who you marry and who you partner with, let me tell you, is very, very strategic when it comes to money. I had both of those. I had an amazing couple. He joined every single session. He was fully on board. And you can see they are building wealth together. They have a plan, and it is an amazing thing to watch. But then, of course, I had somebody whose partner's not on the page, who is, unfortunately, has their substance abuse issues, not playing the game, destroying wealth. Yeah. And how do we deal with that? That is very real.
That is a very real one, Maya. And I have a mentee exactly going through something similar, where it's even gone to other forms of abuse, right? And again, it has created this chaos in her life, right? They have a child together. He doesn't really pay maintenance. And so it's always trying also to find the fine line between you being a counselor and being a money coach and walking the journey with them. And sometimes we do outsource and say, hey, perhaps you do need to see a psychologist, someone who can really deal with the raw emotions of what's happening. But it does impact their finances. If you have a partner who is not contributing to the well-being of your child, it means now more money is coming from you, even though you're trying to fix your finances. But I am happy to say, because we've been walking this journey together, they were able to pay off their debts. So at least they freed up the money to be able to do other stuff that their partner is not doing at the moment. But
I think partners are really a big challenge. And I think for many people, often it actually starts with some sort of marriage counselling to try and resolve some of those issues. And I think if your partner's not prepared to even start talking to you about money or revealing their financial position, it's a very big red flag. In fact, I would say that entering into marriage, before you get married to someone, if you cannot have money conversations, it is not going to end well. It really isn't.
And the thing about being married or in a partnership, things compound. Right? If you can't have those conversations, you are going to have bigger problems around your finances. So effectively, who you marry or who you decide to partner with, it is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make, not just for your well-being, but your finances as well.
And I know one of the things that you and I were chatting about is where a lot of the times you do see the woman, if she's got a child with the partner, but she wants to be independent of him. And then she doesn't want to ask for financial support because if she asks for that support, that gives them some kind of emotional leverage. And that's also another big challenge.
It's a very big challenge. And I think for me, that's when we can say, let's take a look at what does the law say? What does the law say? Every parent, no matter who you are, you need to take care of the people you've brought into the earth. So sometimes we even consult with lawyers to say, you have to have something in writing, right? It's not about you want something from this person, this is for their child. And, it's laughable, actually, Maya. It is absolutely laughable, the amount that people will say, oh, I'm giving my child X amount, and yet they spend so much on themselves. Do you know how much it costs to have a child and to make sure that you're running a successful household? It is absolutely laughable. And anyone who is listening, I know I'm shouting now.
You did my high horse, yeah?
Yes, I'm on my high horse right now. If you have a child and you're not supporting them, I have a very specific word for you, but I will not say it here.
What really bothers me, maybe we just is that unfortunately most of the time the child is living with the mother.
Yes.
And a mother doesn't get to say, I can't afford to put food on the child on the table. How does a father get away with it? And we see this in the maintenance courts. It's like, well, I can't afford it. she doesn't have that choice. So yeah, I agree with you. I think a lot more work needs to be done.
Yes,
needs to be done
absolutely.
on supporting children.
Yeah.
Go to the website as shown below for more on this discussion.
Vir meer as 9 dekades is Tutela 'n onmisbare baken van hoop vir die mees kwesbare lede van ons samelewing. Hulle reik uit na kinders in nood, gesinne in krisis en bejaardes wat nêrens anders het om heen te gaan nie. Vandag staar hierdie lewenslyn egter 'n storm in die gesig. Weens kritieke staatssubsidies wat nie uitbetaal is nie, hang die toekoms van duisende mense aan 'n draadjie. Trini Drotsky, die uitvoerende hoof van Tutela, sluit vanmôre by ons aan om lig te werp op hierdie dringende situasie. Trini, hartlike goeiemôre.
Môre Pieter.
Net so vinnig in 'n neutedop. Ek meen mense wat nog nie van julle gehoor het nie. Wat presies is dit wat julle doen en hoe doen julle dit?
Pieter, ons lewer dienste aan van geboorte tot bejaard. So ons maak seker dat ons kinderbeskermingsdienste doen, bejaardes in fasiliteite versorg en dat mense wat by ons aanklop beter gelaat word. Emosionele versorging, armoede, ons wil regtig ware verskil maak in die gemeenskap.
En hoe lank doen julle dit al?
Ons doen dit nou, wel interessant, ons het altyd gewonder en nou het ons heel eerste notulen gekry se van 1936 af.
Wow, dis amazing.
Ja.
En uiteraard, soos wat ek genoem het, julle maak baie staat op subsidie van die regering af nog altyd en seker dan maar ook mense wat befondsing doen en net bietjie geld vir julle gee en een kant toe stoot. Wat is huidigelik die situasie? Klink vir my of die dinge nie te goed gaan finansiëel gewys nie.
Ja, Pieter, ons het nou vir jare staatssubsidie gekry en ons het afhanklik geraak van daardie staatssubsidie. Die afgelope 15 jaar geen verhoging in enige mate op die staatssubsidie nie. En so sedert 4 jaar terug was ons gewoond aan 'n 3 jaar befondsingsooreenkoms met die staat en skielik kry ons nie meer daardie 3 jaar befondsing nie. Ons moet elke jaar veg vir daardie befondsing en hierdie jaar het ons eintlik nog al 'n groter krisis gehad. Ons was een van die minder organisasies wat nie ooreenkoms ontvang het nie en ons moes later briewe skryf en dreigbriewe skryf en einde het ons diensooreenkoms ontvang, ons subsidie is inbetaal, maar daar's ander NPO's wat nog steeds nie dit kry nie, wat nog steeds nie hulle subsidie ontvang het nie.
Hoorie, en luister met dit, ek meen, as 'n ou nou dink hoe lank julle dit doen, julle het ook hier by 60 of wat duisend begunstigdes na wie julle moet omsien.
Ja, en die groot probleem met dit is, ons sit met daardie begunstigdes wat ons help. So jy moet 'n verhouding bou met hulle. Ons maatskaplike werkers kry nou 1 jaar kontrakte, want ons kan nie 'n toekoms vir hulle waarborg binne in die NPO sektor nie. En jy as 'n begunstigde kom by 'n organisasie soos ons in desperaatheid. Dis jou enigste opsie en jy moet jou storie deel, daai storie wat vir baie mense vernederend is. En môre kom jy terug en jou maatskaplike werker is nie meer daar nie, want sy sien nie kans vir hierdie geveg vir elke jaar nie. Dan soek sy 'n werk wat meer stabiliteit bied en sy gaan na 'n ander organisasie wat nie elke jaar moet veg vir 'n kontrak nie. Die kliënt op die straat weet dan nie wie is my volgende maatskaplike werker, nou moet ek my storie oorvertel.
So daai hele ding wat daai lekker momentum gegee het, word dan nou 'n bietjie gehalter. So hoe kan 'n gewone ou op straat besigheidseienaars net op 'n manier vir julle ook help om 'n hupstoot te gee?
Ja, ons het verskeie projekte, ons het ons gala-aande, ons het 'n wynaand wat volgende jaar kom, so om deel te raak van daai projekte, maar ons groot behoefte op die oomblik, ons moet 'n manier kry om 'n standvastige inkomste te kry, so besigheidsmense daar buite, wat ons kan help om 'n klein sakeonderneming op die been te bring. Ons is maatskaplike werkers, ons is nie finansiëel kundig nie, so iemand wat ons kan help om 'n social enterprise op die been te bring, dat ons 'n standvastige inkomste te kry, sodat daardie mense wat dit regtig nodig het, hierdie diens kan kry. Die diens word gratis gelewer deur maatskaplike werkers. Kwaliteit, professionele dienste, maar dit kos geld.
En ons gaan seker maak dat almal daarvan bewus is. Dankie vir die vinnige inloer, baie sterkte ook, en as jy meer wil betrokke raak by Tutela, ons gaan ook al die info vir julle deel.